The Breeders' Cup and the Pick Six. We'll pick it up for the post parade.
And now, the 18th round of the Breeders' Cup Classic. A mile and 1/4 race for 3-year-olds and up, with a purse of $4 million.
Oh. Well, number one is Oriente. D. Wayne Lucas being shut out today, but he did win a race on the program before we started the big ones.
This is an unbelievable underlay and a testament to D. Wayne Lucas. 26-1. This horse should be 99-1. Harvey, he won the Indiana Derby, his only stakes win. I think people remember Spain and Cash Run and Cat Thief winning at huge prices in the Breeders' Cup. There's no way in the world this horse should only be 26-1. He should be 100-1.
Well, there's a lot of horses here that are close to 100-1. There's number 2, Guided Tour, Larry Melancone riding.
This is a legitimate horse. He's a legitimate contender at 20. This is a good price on this horse. Had a great year for Niall O'Callaghan. Just sold to the Foustock brothers of Buck Ramone Farm. They'll run half and half today for the old owner, Morton Fink, and the new owner, and eventually the new owners will take this horse over to Saudi Arabia.
Now, the number 3 horse here is currently at 47-1. However, his connections, he should be about 5-1.
Yeah, he should be. This is Aidan O'Brien's quote second string. The first string is Galileo. This horse was bought for $750,000. Is by Stormcat. It's absolutely bred for the dirt, not the turf, so it would be no great shock to me that this horse fired. You know, Aidan had one earlier in the day that won on the dirt because he was bred for it.
A lot of people are actually mentioning in their picks the number 4 horse include at this moment in time 9-1 with John Velasquez.
Trained by Buddy Delp in Maryland. Buddy, of course, had the greatest horse ever to look through a bridle in spectacular bid. He's been waiting for another one. He's not going to get one, but this is a pretty nice horse. He's run some back numbers that get him right in the race. He just had not raced since the 1st of July, Harv, when he ran in the Meadowlands Cup back in the end of September. Ran a pretty credible third, but that was against Gander and Broken Bow. This is a far, far better field than that.
Well, there's number 5, Galileo, 2001, only a little over $2.2 million.
Yeah, as we said, the 3 straight Grade 1s, the Epsom Derby, the Irish Derby, the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Stakes. Phenomenal horse. Just missed in the Irish Champion Stakes to fantastic late. By Sadler's Wells, the greatest sire in Europe, the Tabor Magner, Aidan O'Brien, who's the man over there, and he is the man. So we said he's now got 20 Grade 1s, 19 groups, and 1 Grade 1. This is a great horse.
It's not too bad to have the ARC winner here, whether he wins this or not. Also trying the dirt today is Saki.
This was the interesting decision of the week, and I think what Jan just said a few minutes ago, or maybe it was Janine, I'm losing track, but Saki maybe just didn't want the hard turf, and that's why they ultimately decided for the dirt. There's nothing in his pedigree that says dirt, but the Godolphin folks have already won 2. Who's to say they can't win 3? This is a talented horse, unbeaten this year. Win the ARC by 6 and the Juddmonte International by 7. You're a good horse.
If you're going to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, you can't win the Derby, but maybe you can win the Classic. Here's Macho Uno.
Yeah, I saw him live, Harv, at the Pennsylvania Derby when he won down there at Philadelphia Park, and he was really impressive that day. And if you look who he beat, that was Unbridled Elaine. We saw her earlier in the card winning the distaff. That was a pretty good effort. Didn't run so well in the Ohio Derby, but the horse that he beat him there, Western Pride, came right back to win at Calder. It would be an upset, but he's got talent.
Well, we'll give you 80-1, 70-1 on Gander, the New York bred, and they did supplement at 9%.
Yeah, he's got speed, and unfortunately, I'm not sure that's the way you want to go in this race all day long. And this is the entire run down the backstretch into the headwind, Harvey. They just have not, they've all come back. So I just don't think he gets there on class, and certainly not on style. I think there's going to be a hot pace, and nobody's going to survive it.
Well, if it's not going to help Gander, it's certainly not going to help Albert the Great, who used to be the king of Belmont.
Yeah, he was the king. George Chavez is back on after an experiment with Gary Stevens. It didn't work, and I don't think it was Gary's fault. I think the horse is a little off form. Nick Zito is way off form. He's like 4 out of his last 100. Frankly, I'd be very, very surprised if he ran back as the last race was so bad, but as you said, he does love Belmont.
Well, the defending champion, the number 10 horse, Tisnow. Tisnow won it last year. He's been lightly raced this year, and he's trying again.
Yeah, no horse has ever won the Classic twice for a reason. This is the hardest race in the world, other than maybe the Kentucky Derby, to win. Horse of the year 2000, but just has not been the same since he came back off his layoff. His figures are way, way off. They say he's training brilliantly. He's certainly got the ability. Again, Harvey, I think he's going to be up close to the pace, and I don't think that's going to be the way to win.
A Fleet's Dancer, 100-1, is about as big as we can get.
Yeah, and he doesn't have much of a chance. He'd have to run the race of like 3 lifetimes to have any chance in this heat.
The number 12 horse, Aptitude. Now, I would have made Aptitude a pretty good bet in here off his last race, which was brilliant here at Belmont, but I'm just not a fan of post 12 at 1 1/4 miles.
Yeah, he's a 5-2 co-choice at the moment with Galileo, and he was a horse with great promise who never showed it on the racetrack until his last couple of starts when he went off the charts at Saratoga, and then to win the Jockey Club by 10, I don't care who you're in against, that's a powerhouse performance. This is a legitimate horse for Bobby Frankel.
The outside horse, here's another long shot, Freedom Crest with the Stormo.
This is a great story. He was claimed for $32,000. His owner was a guy who escaped Vietnam on a boat, and his trainer, I think, is a guy who has very few horses and not very many of them that are good. They want to shake for this horse to get him for 32 grand, and here they are in the Breeders' Cup Classic. They are a long shot, but that's what this is all. It's what America's all about. Show up and take a shot.
If you can get here and you can get into the race, you've accomplished something. I don't care if you're 80 to 1 or 2 to 1. But this will be Galileo, Aptitude, who knows, the Breeders' Cup Classic coming up.
Yeah, it's exciting, isn't it, as we count down to the race. So many great stories, so many great horses have won this race. It was Tisnow last year. Back in 92, AP Indy, who's already registered a winner earlier with the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. 89, the great Sunday Silence, a Kentucky Derby winner, now the breed-shaping Japanese sire. In 88, Seeking the Gold, the sire of Eustenoff, who's the Derby favoured, one of the favourite runners, ran second to Ali Sheba. Now, riders here, Pat Day won in 99, Cat Thief 98 with Awesome Again. Michael Cannan was defied on Giants Causeway, unlucky last year. Perhaps Galileo will give him his Breeders' Cup Classic success. Chris McCarron won the race last year with Tisnow, and also 96 Alphabet Soup, and for Jerry Bailey. He won in 93, 94, and then 95 aboard the Great Cigar. Brings us back to the 7th race on the card, though, first of all, which we haven't shown you just yet. The Breeders' Cup Fillies and Mares Turf, last year won by Perfect Sting. Favourite runners here included England's Legend, Banks Hill, Starine, Leilani, heavily backed favourite, Jerry Bailey in the saddle. He won 2 years ago with Soaring Softly.
For the Filly and Mare Turf, and they're off. And England's Legend out for the lead quickly from the outside. Here comes Starine to run with her, and in between horses it's Mojusiste as the field moves into the clubhouse turn. Leilani's up with the early leaders too. England's Legend and Mojust right there to prompters. They move into the clubhouse turn. Banks Hill benefiting from a ground-saving trip early, and she's got a choice spot in the early going, running along in 3rd. Starine is 3 wide 4th. Crystal Music is 5th, and alongside her, Leilani is settled back in 6th. Solveig is 7th, and Spring Oak is 8th. 2 lengths back to Chase 9th. Late-running Spook Express is allowed to linger at the back of the pack in the early going here. Then the gray Calypso Katie, and it's another 4 back to the trailer Volga as they begin that long run down the back stretch. The first quarter was honest enough. 24 1/5 seconds. England's Legend, and there's no breather for her down the backstretch. Mo Just is right there to keep her going. On the outside, Starine, as Banks Hill enjoys a perfect journey so far. The opening half mile was a sensible one, 48 3/5 seconds. Corey Nakatani gives England's Legend a bit more range. She leads now by 1.25 lengths. Mo Just between horses, now being asked to keep up. On the outside, Starine edging forward at the half-mile pole. Banks Hill continues that perfect journey while down inside. Leilani is only 2.5 lengths from England Legend. Then Crystal Music, Spring Oak on the outside. Solvik is moving up, and she's moved up a couple spots now on the rail. Spook Express is only about 6 lengths from the lead with less than 3 furlongs to go. And the field is coming to the top of the stretch here. Banks Hill comes through an opening on the inside as England's Legend goes wide. Banks Hill in front now. Solvig is driving hard in second. Here comes Spring Oak charging hard on the outside, and Spook Express is coming with the flying finish. But it is Banks Hill, and she has given them the slip. A dazzling effort here for the French filly. Banks Hill wins by a half a dozen lengths. Spook Express managed second, and then it was Spring Oak and Solvig.
How impressive was that? And have a look at the breeding. By a name you all know so well throughout Australia, Danehill, the all-conquering dual hemisphere sire. Olivier Pellier for Andre Fabre. Juddmont Farms, the owner, bred by Juddmont out of a Kehasi mare. Runner-up was Spook Express, a comic blush horse, Mike Smith in the saddle. Frankie Dettori rode Spring Oak into 3rd position for Sheikh Mohammed Al Maktoum. Also, it was a stablemate of the winner. Banks Hill, too good. It was Banks Hill Spook Express Spring Oak. Leilani, not quite spelt the same as our great Melbourne Cup winner, heavily tried. Jerry Bailey's Mount finished out of the money. That brings us to the big one of the day. 10th race in the World Series, the Grade 1, $4 million Breeders' Cup Classic, 1 1/4 mile. So it's the same distance as what we run our McKinnon Stakes, our Randveck Stakes, and similar to our Cox Plate. This is the way the betting finished last night. Unbelievable considering the odds that they're betting now in America. Favourite in America is the 12, which is Aptitude, just ahead of Galileo. Galileo's been solidly tried in America to win today, and there's been big money for Sarkey, number 6 in America. It's almost halved its earlier quote. It's now around that each way mark. Now, the favourite, though, heavily tried Aptitude. He's been in sensational form this preparation, the son of AP Indy. AP Indy himself won this race in '92, and Aptitude won the Jockey Club Gold Cup by 10 lengths at this circuit, his most recent start over this distance. Before that, won a Group 2 by 4 1/4 lengths. He's been racing in great form. Runners are moving forward for this event. And Galileo is the favourite when betting closed in Australia. As they start to move forward, we can take a look at the runners moving into line. Again, there's some marvellous stories to be had here. And Black Minnelusha Stormcat Galloper, perhaps he will live up to that earlier Group 1 he recorded. Sarkey, the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe winner, he won that so impressively. He takes on the dirt surface today, and his record on the dirt, well, goes around for the first time today. Macho Uno, winner last year of the Breeders' Cup Juveniles, hoping to make history with Gary Stevens in the saddle, the 3-year-old. Line takes good shape. Tom Durkin to call in his traditional Belmont style.
Final 2 horses moving into line here for this 18th Breeders' Cup Classic. The favourite Aptitude, 2 to 1 on the tote board as he moves into post position number 12. And long shot Freedom Crest to his outside. In the gate, ready for the start of the Classic. And they're off! To the cheers of the crowd and guided tour, breaks alertly with Orientate. Albert the Great is gun to the lead. That's Albert the Great. Ore Chavez puts him in front, but Pat Day and Orientate are going to take the fight to him, and those two hook up in a speed duel in the first furlong here. Tis Now not far behind. He's running 3rd in the early going. Guided Tour drops back to run along in 4th. Galileo only 5 lengths from the lead. He's 5th. The Arc winner Saki is 6th on the outside, and the favorite Aptitude is now running in 7th. Macho Uno bulls his way through from 8th now. Black Middlebush is 9th. Include is down toward the inside, and he's now 10th. Freedom Crest, Gander, who's well in hand, and at the back of the pack is Long Shot, a Fleet's Dancer. The quarter went in 23 1/5 seconds, a grueling pace here, and into the wind half of 47 seconds flat. Albert the Great grinding it out on a short lead now. Orientate couldn't stay with him. There goes Guided Tour, who splits horses decisively with 5 furlongs to go. And on the outside, the daunting presence of a horse of the year, Tis Now, and he's right there just off the pace 4th. Saki and Galileo right there and behind the lead. Macho Uno's in the thick of it as Aptitude begins to roll here with 3.5 furlongs to go in the Classic, and it is Albert the Great blazing the way. Tis Now looms in 2nd. Saki is there on the outside. Guided Tour fights on. Galileo's under a heavy drive. He's still 6 lengths behind. Include will put his run through on the rail. Aptitude is taken wide by Gander, and the field turns for home. Here comes the Arc winner, Saki, and he storms to the lead. Saki in narrow lead, and Tis Now is battling on, the American Horse of the Year, and the Arc winner are heads apart with a furlong to go in the Classic. On the outside, Saki. Tis Now fights on. Here's the wire, desperately close. Tis Now wins it for America, beating Saki right on the wire. Finishing 3rd was Albert the Great. Macho Uno was 4th.
Oh, unbelievable. Has Saki on the outside got this, or has Tis Now, last year's winner, come to win for Chris McCarron, giving him back-to-back races and a 3rd in the past 6 years? As this stage, Saki, the Arc winner, came with a confident Frankie Dettori ride, and they hit the line. It's going to be very close. Perhaps Tis Now making it back-to-back, and 3rd going to Albert the Great, number 9. What a run from Albert. He was great today. Now, Bob of the Heads, not knowing the angle at Belmont, To be confirmed, mile. They ran 1:35.4, 1200, 1:11.1, 847 seconds, and quarter mile in 23.1. Placings to be confirmed. From the track, we're awaiting news. That should be called through by Tom Durkin very soon. And they ran 2 minutes, 0.3. 2 clean, 0.3. Again, the concluding stages. Albert the Great on the inside. Sarkia the outside. Tisnow in between. And as they near the line, Tisnow with Chris McCarron for Jay Robbins. Assis Tizzy, 4-year-old. Lunges, surges, and has it got Sarki? Bob of the Heads. We're awaiting a call from the track. Well, we're all sweating on this. Who will it be? Placings to be supered as soon as we get them through. All of the angles covered by the simulcast team from Belmont in New York. And, well, no confidence either way. Frankie Dettori looks across at Chris McCarron. Chris McCarron's not looking at Frankie. Now he does. 10. And the running order. 10 first, Tisnow. Second, number 6, Sarki. Third, number 9, which is Albert the Great. Fourth, going to the 7, Macho Uno. 10, 6, 9 and 7 winning time sectionals are all there through the mile in 1:35.87, and the adjusted final race time 2 minutes 0.62. No sign of aptitude, Galileo of the fancied runners, but Tisnow proving too good. So we'll complete full results, but it's time to take you back through. Have a look at this. Chris McCarron returns. He'll be pretty happy about that result, and that one by C's Tizzy out of a Seattle song mare, and a great race ride to grab it where it mattered on the finishing line. Okay, if you've been a late riser, forgot to wind your clocks forward before you went to bed, it's time to take you back through all of the earlier races. And the first on the card was the Breeders' Cup Distaff. We're going to take you back there. And the winner was Unbridled Elaine.
Into the stretch. Spain, the defending champion, is there by 2. Atelier driving hard. 2-item limit coming on the outside. Flute, not today. Miss Linda Starrer. Unbridled Elaine is coming with the late run, but it is Spain in front. Here comes Unbridled Elaine with giant strides. Here's the wire. Photo finish. Unbridled Elaine maybe. Pat Day thinks he got it. He raised that fist in the air, photoing with Spain. It was very close indeed. It was close for third as well between Atelier
and 2-item limit got third. Now, we had to go back to 86 to find Pat Day's last win in that race with Lady Secret at Santa Anita. That won by the one-time shuttling sire Unbridled Song, who also won a juvenile several years ago out of a mare called Carol's Folly by Taylor's Falls. Pat Day, successful. Winning trainer was Dallas Stewart. The runner-up, the Thunder Gulch mare. Spain, a winner last year for D. Wayne Lucas, Victor Espinoza, but was denied on the line. And then we went to the third place runner, 2-item limit, filly by Twining, and Alex Solis was in the saddle. We go back to the juvenile fillies, and the grey turning for home is run down late as we look to a Quinella to Godolphin.
toiling toward the inside. You Anabipti, 1 furlong to go. Godolphin 1-2. Imperial Gesture and Tempera's in front. Imperial Gesture running second. Bella Belucci and Sophisticat, and it is Tempera to win it. Her stablemate Imperial Gesture finishing second. Farther back, Bella Belucci was third.
Tempera successful. Ian Harty, he trained the first and second for Godolphin. The winning rider David Flores. AP Indy was successful. Now here is live pictures as they celebrate the moment in the $4 million Breeders' Cup Classic. And there's Chris McCarron, a battery of photographers there as the sun has set on Belmont as the afternoon darkens. Chris, a veteran rider who's done so much. He won in '96 in this race aboard Alphabet Soup. He's had a great record. And it's 10, 6 and 9 with Tisnow beating Sarki and Albert the Great. And it's been a great race day for Chris McCarron, who's one of the real veterans of American race riding, an absolute star. He has been for such a long time. And enjoying success, it was great to see in the final race, the richest race on today's day of racing. As he returns, he's got the whip between his teeth, the big wreath of flowers over the neck of this 4-year-old. out of a mare called Sea's Song, Seattle Song mare, and they're pretty happy, the J. Robbins team. Chris McCarron was on board last year when it tasted success. It was a bit more of an upset. This year, though, it started in the market in America at around the 6-1 quote. Okay, let's take you back to the earlier races as they soak up the moment at Belmont in New York. And we go back to the Breeders' Cup Mile, a great sire-making race, a Royal Academy horse. Royal Academy won this race in 1990.
From the outside, 1 furlong to go. 4 Bit and Apple strikes the lead just outside the 8th pole, but Val Royal is coming with an electrifying run. Val Royal sweeps to the lead 100 yards from home, rocketing past for Bit and Apple and Bach. Val Royal has won it by 2 lengths here, coming from well off the pace to do it. He has defeated Forbidden Apple, Bach, and some of the world's best.
Including Novair, the favourite, who disappointed, having every chance, by Royal Academy, who won the race in 1990 and shuttled to Australia many times. That was when Lester Piggott rode him. This has been a great race. This is a 5-year-old who we may see one day in Australia if he's shuttled. This one is owned by David Milch. Other former great winners of this race include Lure, last year it was War Champ, the Danzig Galloper for Gary Stevens, Spinning World, Last Tycoon, Miesk, the dam of King Mambo, has won this race twice. This year Val Royal, the runner-up Forbidden Apple by Pleasant Colony, and Bach in 3rd position, the Careleon horse prepared by Aidan O'Brien and Michael Canan in the saddle. That's the mile. We go to the sprint. Last year won by Kona Gold, heavily tried to win again this year with Alex Solis in the saddle, not up to it today.
Star Day is kicking in on the far outside. The whip is out on left bank. Swept Overboard is coming up the inside, and Delaware Township coming with a resolute rally down the middle of the track. It is still extra heat. Here comes Squirtle Squirt. Caller 1 on the outside. Squirtle Squirt. Caller 1 extra heat. A driving finish. Here's the wire. Squirtle Squirt has won it over extra heat. Close for 3rd between Swept Overboard and Caller 1.
Wonderful result for Bobby Frankel, a trainer who tastes Breeders' Cup success in the sprint and one of the most popular trainers in America. Jerry Bailey, who's had so much success on this day, most importantly with that great horse Cigar. That horse by Marquetry, who shuttled to Australia last year. The runner-up was Extra Heat, the Dixieland Heat horse. The Georges Chavez was on board. He won the race in 99 with Artax. And 3rd, Corey Nakatani's mount, Caller 1, the phone trick galloper out of a Danzig mare. And the favourite, Kona Gold, looking to go back-to-back, was denied. We go to the fillies and mares turf race, grade 1, $1 million US, 2,000 metres, and have a look at this for an impressive win on the hedge.
Still in front now. Solvig is driving hard in 2nd. Here comes Spring Oak charging hard on the outside, and Spoke Express is coming with the flying finish, but it is Banks Hill, and she has given them the slip. A dazzling effort here for the French filly. Banks Hill wins by a half a dozen lengths. Spoke Express managed 2nd, and then it was Spring Oak and Solvig.
Have a look at the breeding by Danehill, as we mentioned earlier, the sire of champion sire in Australia and a star in the Northern Hemisphere. And Banks Hill brought good form into the race and blew them away. Olivier Pellier for Andre Fabre was successful. Spook Express, the runner-up, the Comic Blush mare, and Spring Oak was 3rd, another Andre Fabre prepared runner. Frankie Dettori in the saddle, a Mark of Esteem filly out of a Grey Dawn mare. Leilani, Jerry Bailey's ride for Eddie Dunlop, was solidly tried. Leilani spelt slightly different to our Leilani, but she's been an absolute star in the Northern Hemisphere, and she finished out of the placings.